Civilization, because celibacy is so in right now. So I've decided to play some Civilization. But not just your ordinary game, no. For those of you who haven't kept up with Civ for a while, they released something called the Frontier Pass, which comes with a bunch of new leaders, though I don't really care about them to be honest. I'm more interested in something that got released with them. Tons and tons of game modes, 8 to be exact. 6 paid for, and 2 are free. Now, the free ones aren't necessarily bad, but they aren't game-changing. But the paid ones are all game-changing. And seeing as how I've never properly played a game with any of them, I want to try and beat a game with all of them enabled at once. So buckle in for some absolute insanity. My first leader choice was Lady Six Sky. Yes, because I wanted an achievement, don't sue me. I mean, I know I'm the only person who actually cares about achievements anymore, but hey, numbers please me, what can I say? Also, before we properly get into this game, let it be known that I am terrible at Civ. I love it, but good God, don't make me the leader of anything. Oh, we found a secret society. Okay, and despite the fact that they are stupidly simple, I only really figured out how they work near the end of my last game. So I'll just explain it briefly. After doing the requirement, you spend a governor title on them, and you get the reward. It's that bloody simple, but I'm just super smooth-brained, I guess. Oh, and also, when it came time to select policies, as our secret society gave us a free economic policy slot, we just had amazing wiggle room. It was so beautiful. And this, ladies and gentlemen, you see this small little red and black club symbol that looks like a club, as club symbols tend to do? Yeah, that's going to be the start of a world of pain for me. Oh, did I say that the barbarians were an issue? No. These goddamn zombies are going to be a way bigger issue than the barbarians ever could be. Oh wait, never bloody mind that, because apparently horsemen and horse archers are available to the barbarians on turn sodding 17. On turn 18, I said adios to that trader I spent half the national budget on because it just got zombified, and a lot more barbarians have shown up, because apparently this situation is declining faster than the hairline of British men after the age of 26. Oh god, it's the Portuguese Communist Party, which apparently gets 18.7% of the votes. That's, surprising to say the least. And there are zombies. Of course, of bloody course. We're in a terrible situation right now, as you can probably tell, so desperate times call for desperate measures. So, I decided to summon a hero. Now, granted, I didn't really know what any of the heroes did at this point, so I was just kind of shooting in the dark. This hero is really cool actually though, because when it kills a unit, you then gain control of that unit, with absolutely zero, and I mean zero, unforeseen consequences. It was here where I started to get a few ideas that could possibly decrease my social credit score, because you see, Bandar Brunei, or Buster Brownies as the locals call it, had barely any military due to constantly getting destroyed by zombies and barbarians. So, I thought, why don't we just get an army and then demolish them? And so, I got an army, and then declared war, and waited for what I thought would be an absolute demolishment. If that's even a word. But, as some of you may have noticed, there were frankly a concerning number of zombies right outside my capital, and it was around here when I realised something. That hero had, dare I say, unforeseen consequences, because that zombie I had control over and was using to kill other zombies, and, things which were attacking my capital, was spawning zombies near me, because the game spawns zombies close together, or at least I think it does, as that's the only thing that could explain this many zombies in one area. And also, whenever a zombie kills a unit, another enemy zombie spawns there a turn later. I did not know this. I really should have known this. So this means that it didn't matter how many zombies we'd killed, because we just spawn a new enemy zombie, not a new friendly zombie. Although I don't really agree with that. I think if a friendly zombie kills something, it should spawn a friendly zombie, but whatever. So I doubt I need to tell you where this is heading. And after playing for a while after this, I realised something. Good lord, this is a waste of time. Did I have this realization about video games in general, as I probably should have done? Hell no, that'd make far too much sense. I just had this realization about a particular game of Civ, so I restarted. This time I decided on Portugal because, well, if you can't beat them, join them, I suppose, and I started off by fighting some barbarians. And now, it's at this point when I started making a grave error, which persists for pretty much this whole video. Because there's an achievement in this game called Finder's Fee, which you get from ransoming 5 units from barbarian clans. So I spent ages spending money buying units from barbarian clans, as in their warriors and things, raiding them to ensure they didn't turn into city-states, and repeating this process. I spent ages doing this outside of this video, and this achievement, mysteriously, never popped up for me. Did I try changing my methods? Hell no. I kept on doing the same thing over and over again because this is America, damn it. But, as the smarter among you probably know, this was not ransoming. Ransoming is when one of your units gets captured and you pay the ransom to get it back. So I wasted so much goddamn time and gold hiring units, which totally doesn't make my blood boil watching this back. We then did your bog standard starter stuff, building campuses, improving tiles, other mundane things, but then Funchal became independent. I had just lost half my empire, all due to a single Dark Age. Dramatic Ages mode, ladies and gentlemen, fun times here only! So, I had a choice here. I could either try to gain back the land there, get rid of the dangerous military presence there that was holed up midway in the very limited area of land that I had. Take it out while it was relatively minimal, or I could, who am I kidding? You already know that I just ignored it and moved on. Now, after a while, we went from shit to deep shit. Because not only had Fez, my main protector, been overrun by loads of zombies, but also, you know how I just decided to ignore that independent city? Well, now they've decided to invade me. I swear to God, you just can't win in this game, you just can't. So I then decided to do the only logical option, at least in my mind, and settle like hell at the bottom of the map, just because we were super far behind right now. I mean, at turn 51, we only had 3 cities, none of which were actually semi-decent, and we were being invaded, and there were tons of zombies right next to us. So at this point, I was just kind of playing just to see if maybe I could get at least into a semi-decent position, and then Brazil declared war on me. We fought for ages, and now I wasted even more time on a war that I couldn't even win at. So yeah, at this point, I just kind of decided to give up. On to try 3 we go! It's Byzantium who's up this time, and we first met the Romans, who has a very odd way of saying hello, but despite him talking about his capital, well, his capital doesn't actually exist yet. But unfortunately, they settled right before I could knock them out the game immediately. But this game, I knew that we couldn't just react to what was going on anymore. That had gotten us killed too many times. We had to be what others reacted to, and take them all by surprise. So, I decided to spam settle to all hell, other civilizations be damned, because I really wanted to box in Rome so they couldn't expand too much, as they are known to do. Rome then made fun of me for not expanding much, despite the fact that, he only had 1 city too, and then he denounces me for this. So I then realised that I should probably start building up a military, just because Rome kind of has a history of militarily crushing everyone and everything in their way. Nothing personal. But we had a while of semi-peace. Granted, he still hated me, but we hadn't gone to war yet because we were both fighting this one pesky barbarian camp, which I tried to keep alive because I was still going for the achievement that shall not be named, which I thought you got from hiring barbarian units, but you actually got from ransoming your own back. So yeah, silly me. Though it did actually help because I got some promotions for my units. Now, I actually decided to go for religion this game. Yes, because of the achievement for conquering Rome's capital while they followed your religion as Byzantium. And yes, I did put Rome in the game so I could get this achievement. I need to go to achievement rehab, I swear to God. But I then saw Rome bringing out a settler, and after he'd been on my case so damn much, I just wanted some revenge. So I tried to declare a surprise war and then quickly take the settler. We were so close to taking it, and then, yep, it settled right before I could get to it. But to be honest, Rome is a super powerful civ, so I wanted to try and cripple them before the game really got going. So despite the immense risk, we didn't stay on the defensive, but we went on the offensive. But I then found out that this war was absolutely pointless, because the city flipped independent anyway, because Rome went into a dark age. So we could just quickly yoink it. But then there was the slight issue that Rome had a huge military. Despite being a glorified city-state at this point, it was stronger than us militarily. But we still had to fight them up until we could make peace. And while I was worried, I was also more worried that Rome might have suffered some brain damage, because he built a boat in a 3-tile wide pond, meaning the shit would be useless to absolutely everyone. Oh, and we also made Buddhism because we had nothing else going on that day, I guess. Though I mainly geared my religion towards science and production, because religion victories are boring. Now, the situation in Rome was very quickly starting to collapse for us, because our troops were really hurt and we needed them really badly to clear out the area so that our settlers could move around safely. So I ended up making peace. But what did we gain? Well, we gained a city which, if we're honest, was a bit of a shit one, but hey, a city is a city. But on the bright side, we didn't lose that much, and we accomplished the main goal of the war, which was to block off the Romans from settling a large area. So overall, mission accomplished. But then I realised that we were being boxed in ourselves by Alexander. But to be honest, Alexander was way stronger than Rome, so I just decided to leave that problem be, and completely box in Rome, because why not? I mean, if we could completely surround them, then they couldn't really hurt us, and we didn't even need to invest in a war to cripple them. Well, a second one anyway. Also, I kind of forgot about the barbarian camp up north, but I really should have paid attention to it, because Puteoli, I hope I pronounced that right, was not having a very fun time to say the least. But thankfully, at this time, I could start spreading my religion and making up for my really poor science just by making everyone follow my religion. In fact, by the time I actually noticed the problem, it was too late to do anything about it, as Puteoli got destroyed. Although apparently, the game found Rome as irritating as I did, because I sent most of the barbarians to Rome, so good luck to them, I guess. Oh, and also, some zombies were attacking my capital, and then they just got obliterated by some tornadoes, which isn't too relevant to the wider game, but I just found it funny, so I left it in. But now that we had gotten rid of the immediate threat of zombies killing my capital, that of Rome came back into question, because of course, we just lost the city that kept them contained. This sounds like I'm talking about an SCP or something, Jesus. And so, my original plan was to just plonk another city down there, but then I had a little look at Rome and realised that those barbarians were absolutely tearing Rome apart. And I mean, take a look at the health bar, good lord. So I just decided to declare war on them and try and take it for myself. Although, I did feel kind of bad, to be honest, because there were more zombies in the territory than their own units. And I love how the main unit they were building was catapults, because they thought they might get the chance to siege one of our cities. Oh, bless him. I mean, he did put up a good fight considering his situation and probably could have defended himself if he would have shot at my units rather than the zombies. But we eventually took Rome, and at first I wondered, why wasn't he dead? But then I saw that he made one last city on a tiny iceberg, which was just so depressing. I didn't have the heart to finish him off. Although I very nearly lost Rome too. Although whenever zombies struck the blow that would have killed it, they just got teleported back outside, so maybe zombies can't kill capital cities? I'm not too sure, but that seems to be the only thing that makes sense. But now, as we'd basically neutered one of the civs in the game, and we were the first to find the other continent, we were in a way better position than the last game. Oh, and Alexander decided to conquer Leventa, and this cheesed me off, because it was right next to my cities, and they'd already tried messing with Auckland before, which means he might start getting some freaky ideas about my own territory. So, naturally, I decided to start spam settling the new continent to all hell, because I'll be damned if anyone else gets a piece of this land. What can I say, rule Britannia and all that. But, unfortunately, there's this pesky little thing called natives on the continent, so we had to bring over some conquistadors who slapped them down. But of course, we didn't destroy it, because of the goddamn achievement that I wasted so much of my life on and took me so long to understand. I'm genuinely still not over the hours upon hours that this took from me. But still, I continued spamming troops and settlers over to the New World, because what else were we going to do? Well, okay, there was actually a reason for it, as I wanted to build up bases for troops to attack the Indians Alexandrians from, and we could kind of pincer them. We then went through a long period where both loads happened and nothing happened, because we built loads and loads of stuff, but also nothing really changed. I mean, at this point I was just declaring war with city-states because I was kind of bored waiting for a plan to come through, and what else was I going to do with a 3-star ironclad? But then, one of my builders got captured by a barbarian camp, and then on the barbarian camp screen it said ransom, and then I finally understood it. Holy shit, that's what ransoming meant. So then, yeah, I just kind of started to keep on sacrificing units to barbarians and then buying them back, so that we could finally get the achievement and be done with this. Oh yeah, and also that tiny iceberg city Rome made decided to join me, and it somehow wasn't too bad considering the tiles it had. And it wasn't good or great by any stretch, but it was honestly better than some of my newly settled cities on actual land. So, you know how I said that I was planning to attack the other civs eventually? Well, I kid you not, I was already taking their cities just through loyalty, as Leventa and Srinagar had already gone independent, with Methone starting the independence process. Although the independent ones were going to flip to me anyway, I frankly just felt like bombing something. And so I goddamn did. In fact, my empire's loyalty was so strong that even his goddamn capital was flipping to me. I mean, I was planning to declare war on him way earlier, but I just plain didn't need to right up until his final city. And honestly, I probably could have just waited and not declared war, because it was going to flip to me anyway. And the best thing is, the war I declared on him didn't give me any grievances, because according to some nutcase, it was a protectorate war. Aww. I mean, I didn't even need to invest into artillery to break down their walls. I could just ram tanks into them because, well, it's 1760 AD, so they're probably trying to kill tanks with sticks and stones. And at the same time, India was getting absolutely raw-dogged by so many zombies. So I started sending my navy over to India to just hang around. And sure enough, Alex's capital went independent before we could even conquer it, and a few turns later, the entire Alexandrian Empire was entirely waffle-stomped, besides a single 2-population city, which I left there for no other reason than humiliation. And honestly, from here on, I just kind of waited around because I really wanted the achievement of winning in a Dark Age, and losing 4 cities in a dramatic Dark Age. But even when I did the smallest amount possible that I could, I still got a Gold Age by sheer accident. And so, with my failure of failing hanging over me, I took my rage out on Alex's little pet city, and then waffle-stomped India's capital into the goddamn ground. So, would I recommend playing Civilization this way? God no, because by playing all the modes at once, you can't really fully experience any of them, and honestly, the zombies one was by far the most annoying, as it was effectively just more stronger barbarians that you could build traps for. And, well, that isn't exactly the most exciting thing. And honestly, that one was the only one I actually got to experience, because all the others just kind of blended together and didn't really end up mattering. But anyway, thanks for watching. I might redo this on deity difficulty, but good God, this was hard enough.